It has become clear that Max Verstappen isn't afraid to overtake when battling on the tracks, and it only reminds one of the Brazilian Ayrton Senna. While Senna supported his overtaking with the famous words, "If you no longer go for a gap that exists, then you are no longer a racing driver." Perhaps this could also be Max's philosophy, but recently, his father revealed the secret to the young Dutch driver's overtaking prowess. If this is your first visit, subscribe to the channel and ring the notifications bell to stay tuned to the channel. Back in the day, Jos Verstappen was known to be one of the few exceptional Formula One drivers, and like his son, Jos became a professional driver at a young age, making his Formula One debut at the young age of 22. He finished his rookie season with 2 podium finishes, which is extremely nice for someone who was signed as a test driver. His spell in Formula One could have had a rather tragic end, but he escaped with only minor injuries when a pit lane fire forced him to escape, and it created one of the sport's most iconic images. After a rather unnecessary loan, his career took a rather different turn, where he was caught driving a weaker vehicle that had reliability issues, and finished just one of the 5 races he drove for the Simtech team, before it filed bankruptcy. Jos further spent the entirety of his career searching for new teams and narrowly missing out on podiums. Following a few more seasons during uncompetitive cars, the senior Dutchman capped his Formula One career with Minardi circa 2004. Overall, he contested 107 Grand Prix and won 2 podium finishes and 17 championship points. Jos's career in motorsport did help him find Max's mother though, Sophie Kumpen, who has been rated as one of the world's best go-karters in her time by the likes of Jenson Button and Christian Horner. Jos put his entire energy into his retirement from motorsports into raising the young Max, who began karting at only age 4 and went on to win multiple championships as a junior driver in Europe. Since Max graced the tracks as an impressive driver, he's attributed most of his racing successes to the support he got from his father, and Jos himself said that he was even more invested in the success of his son. He said back in 2019, "Max was my life project. I wanted to win with him, become a champion. We had a goal together. I found the time with Max much more fun than my own career. Put it this way, I did more for Max's career than for my own career." Jos Verstappen explained that his lessons from the past have assisted to shape his son's driving abilities. Despite Max Verstappen's young age, he has already been part of 7 Formula One campaigns, with more than 130 Grand Prix to his name. One captivating skill that sets the young driver apart from his peers and other drivers on grid is his overtaking ability, which isn't entirely easy with the modern Formula One cars. Jos once explained that he restricted Max from making passes that seemed too easy during karting, and this surely helped him to develop his abilities. Jos said, "While karting, I tried to teach Max as much as possible. There are so many aspects you have to take into account. Overtaking was an important subject for me because, in my opinion, you can also overtake in the wrong way. If Max lost time during an overtake, I tried to explain how he could do it better. I even went so far as to forbid him from overtaking on the straights in places where it seemed too easy. I told him, you can only overtake here, here, and there. Otherwise, don't do it." It's one of the reasons I feel that Max can overtake anywhere in Formula One. Overtaking is not a coincidence. A driver has to keep an eye on his competitor, assess his weaknesses, and get to know them. Max has developed this for years in karting. Although Max started karting at age 4, Jos claims he really wanted his son to wait for a little more time before starting the journey with him. He noted, "I actually wanted to wait longer before putting him in a kart, but no. Max made it very clear that he wanted a go-kart. As a 6-year-old, he was already ahead of his peers. He still had a hard time against the older boys, but one day it clicked when our regular circuit was closed. We went to a circuit Max wasn't familiar with, but I didn't have to tell him much about the corners and lines. He was competitive straight away, and then I knew, okay, Max gets it. When we returned to our usual circuit in Genk, I could see he'd taken that step forward." Jos also says that Max has always been mentally strong, which has been part of his character from a young age. He notes, "Max has always had a kind of calmness about him. You can't train that. That is his character. I know I haven't always been the easiest to work with, and that I have asked a lot of Max. but he has come through it all, and he is very strong mentally. Max has also spoken about the methods his father employed to teach him how it is necessary to rely on personal intuition with the car, rather than solely on data. In one interview, Max mentioned how Jos regularly changed parts on the car just to teach him how to get a unique feel with the car. The young Verstappen said, "That's what my dad taught me. Sometimes he would send me out. He would change something on the kart, but he wouldn't tell me what, and then I had to feel what it was doing. That's how we get a good understanding of new parts coming into the car. But he also told me, if you don't feel anything, don't say anything. Don't lie." It can be agreed that Max Verstappen's early career was marred with a few unfortunate and unnecessary high-profile crashes, as well as brash encounters with the media, but now it is clear that the driver has matured well enough. After bagging his maiden title last season, racing one of the best Formula One drivers to the finish line and emerging victorious, Max Verstappen has sustained and even done better over his father's own legacy. Jos has always been noticed buzzing around his son, till the young driver's team asked the father to give his son time to improve and be better. One iconic moment of Jos critiquing his son was in a Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, where the senior Verstappen broke to pieces when his son bashed against the wall during a rather stunning qualifying lap. In 2022, during the heat of Max and Hamilton's championship battle, Jos was often caught up in the drama, which eventually felt like he dragged himself into it. At the time, Jos was less than complimentary about his son's title rival, claiming to only admire the British driver on the tracks. He noted, "I never speak to Lewis. He doesn't need to speak to me. I'm nothing to him. I respect him as a driver, but the rest, nothing. Max and Lewis only speak on the podium, very little. When I see Max with other drivers, I think they get on very well. But with Lewis, nothing. Lewis is in his own world." Like Verstappen, Hamilton was also famously managed by his father until they split in 2010. As Hamilton was trained by his father, he eventually emerged as one of the greatest Formula One drivers with a special driving talent, and it currently seems Verstappen has also crafted a unique skill from the lessons his father gave him. Verstappen has now been associated with a special overtaking skill that it seems there is no driver he cannot use it on. Some term his style aggressive, but they have managed to get him podiums, and if it is any case last season and the few races of this new season have only indicated that the driver has matured. If you enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell on the right side of the screen to get verified for updates.